The last part about graphing is going to be phase shift. This is going to just take any of the graphs that we've done so far and going to shift it to the left or to the right by an amount, which is determined by whatever you see right here. So this graph is going to shift by pi over 2. First important thing is to talk about the period. Don't let the phase shift confuse you on how to find the period. It's still 2 pi divided by the number in front of x. The number in front of x is 1. 2 pi is the period. This has nothing to do with determining the period. So typically when we're graphing, I usually graph the sine function or whatever the function is off to the side, and then use that to help me graph it. Right now I'm going to put it on here. So the normal sine function starts at 0, goes up to 1, down to 0, down to -1, back to 0. Now what we're going to do is take that graph and we're going to shift it by pi over 2. Okay, pi over 2, 90 degrees, or just again use the lines to guide you. Pi over 2 is right here. Right, this is pi over 2. Pi, 3 pi over 2, 2 pi. Pi over 2 is 4 lines. The one thing you have to remember is it goes in the opposite direction of whatever this sign is. This was plus pi over 2. So we're going to shift it not to the right, but to the left. So think opposite, negative. We're going to shift to the left. So we're going to take this point and shift it to the left. So let's start here, just the way our graph is. Let's start here. This point is going to shift to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4. This point here, shift to the left, 4. This point here, shift to the left, 4. This here, shift to the left, 4. And if we had another one, it would shift to the left, 4 would be over here. So now you can see that I took the dotted graph and I just shifted it over by pi over 2, 4 lines. So phase shift is just taking it and shifting it left to the or right. This positive means to the left. If it were negative, it would mean to the right. Period, same thing, 2 pi divided by the number in front of the x. Okay, try another one. Shifting by pi over 3. So again, let's go do our dotted sign. Starts at 0, goes up to 1, goes down to 0, goes down to -1, back up to 0. This is 2 pi. So there's your basic sine function. So we're going to positive shift to the left by pi over 3. So we got to figure out where pi over 3 is. Right. So if pi over 2 is 90 degrees, then each of these lines represents 30 degrees. 30, 60, 90. Pi over 3 is 60 degrees. So 30, 60. So basically 60 degrees, or pi over 3, in our graph, the way we did it, is 2 lines. So take each of your points and shift them to the left by 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Right? 1, 2. Shifting to the left by 2. Shift to the left by 2. Right? And there's your graph. What's the period? 2 pi divided by 1 or 2 pi. Remember, the phase shift has nothing to do with changing what the period would be. Okay? So just take your basic graph, shift it over. Again, you can always graph this in your calculator and radian mode, and you're going to need to use your table and think about how our numbers, like 3.14, are our radians, pi, etc. Okay, let's do this one. Okay, so again, period, 2 pi. That didn't change. Shifting it, negative to the right, pi over 6. Right? Pi over 6 is 30 degrees. Remember, we talked about the lines. 1, 2, 3 lines was 90, so 30 is one line. So we're really shifting it by one line. Graph your basic cosine function. Cosine starts at 1, goes to 0, down to -1, to 0, to +1. This is 2 pi, -1, 1. Okay, so this is your basic cosine. We're shifting it to the right by one line. Over 1, over 1, over 1, over 1, over 1. Okay. Hopefully your hand's a little bit steadier and your graph looks a little bit better. Try the next one. Here's a question for you. What's the period? So now we have to take into account that this is no longer 1, right? The period is 2 pi divided by the number in front of the x, which is 2. So my period is pi. So not only do I have to do a phase shift, but I also have to change the period. It's not going to be the normal curve. So let's start there. Normal curve is this. I have to fit 2 of those in. So I have to fit one of them in between 0 and pi. So it starts at 1, ends at 1, right? So basically what I'm doing right now is I'm graphing the cosine of 2x before I do the phase shift. Okay? So here it is. This is the cosine of 2x. Now I have to shift it pi. Well, pi is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. Negative is to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this point I didn't do. This one, shifting 6, would be right here. So what happens in this graph is if we shift it, if it's the cosine of 2x, and we shift it by pi, we actually get the same graph. Biggest thing here also, again, because you can always graph in the calculator, is how do you find the period? 2 pi divided by the number in front of x. All right, let's look at another one, a little bit different. Notice the 2 here is out in front. The first thing that you want to do is distribute the 2. So if I multiply 2 by x, I get 2x. Here, I'm going to multiply 2 by 3 pi over 4. The 2 and the 4 simplify, so plus 3 pi over 2. So, again, period. 2 pi divided by the number in front of x, so pi. 3 pi over 2, right? Pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's 9 lines. Positive means go to the left. So 9 lines to the left. Also, you're squunching it up, right? So your basic sine function does this. But if I have to fit 2 of them in, I have to squish it up and make 2 of them fit into here. Okay. 9 lines to the left. So obviously my graph's a little bit off here, so I can move 9 lines. So let's just graph another one. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, another cycle. So take these and shift, like maybe these 3 points, 9 to the left. So this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This one, which is really here, it's halfway in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This one is halfway in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this one goes to here. Okay. So here, what you just have to remember is that we have to kind of simplify it first, distribute that 2 first. Guess that's it. You don't have any homework. So what we'll do in class is we'll talk about what the period is, how it shifts it. We didn't do ones where the amplitude shifted up or went up higher, so like going up to 3, so maybe then we'd have to have it go up to 3 and down to 3. So we'll talk about that, and again, biggest thing right now is just to remember how to find the period no matter what it is, no matter what equation you're given. How do we find that? See you in class.